Okay, ma'am. Please, you start then.
So first I have to stop it.
Stop sharing, na? Yes. So with which experiment superposition theoremin we start, sir?
Tushar,
Ma'am, this class is at 6:30 or 4:45.
Which one? Your class will be here 4 to 4:45 and then 4:45 to 6 probably, no? I think
Members timetable it's 4:45 only.
It was supposed to
4:45. So we will try our best to complete this within say 5:30 or something like that. Huh? We will try to finish. Huh? So let us start first.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
without wasting our time, I am sharing my PPT, isn't it? Oritra sir, should I start? And Dr. Sharkar?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. Please.
Madam, please continue.
okay, you can start.
Thank you, sir. Is the screen visible to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Yes,
very
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, as you know, this is the experiment number 1, which deals with the network theorem. So here we will, actually in your theory class, the network theorem has been started by your concerned faculty members. I hope so. And
No,
Yes, sir. Just today.
started today, probably. Okay, no problem. We will here discuss the theory part as well as in experiment what we are going to do. No need to worry about at all, because we will also show you the experimentation thoroughly from 10th of January. Okay, so here just to give you the idea of the experiment as well as the theory will be discussed. Huh?
okay.
So here I think 5 experiments have been, if Telegen's theorem is included, then that would be 5 experiments. But here in the first experiment, we are going to discuss two theorems. So one is superposition and another is Thevenin's. So most of you, I think, you have heard the term superposition. And am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Thank you.
can you please record this class?
It is recording.
Dr.
Oh,
Bore,
sorry.
Yes, it is already recording.
recorded, no? It is
Yes.
being
Yes, ma'am.
recorded.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Bore, it is being
Yes.
recorded, no, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And
It is-
sir, one more thing, sir. Can you please revoke so that we can not see the admit box? It is coming by.
So that is the problem with your friends. Those who are using their personal email ID, only think this box is coming.
No, ma'am. This can be provoked by the organizer. So we cannot admit them. So the box cannot come in our screen.
But at this very early stage, we cannot remove them, no? It may be with the issues that they don't have the password correctly or something like that. But from the next week onwards, we can assure you that we will not.
Yeah, ma'am, I am not saying that to remove them. I am just take the authority from our.
Okay. The administrator will solve all these issues. Okay. So without wasting time, let us complete this. Okay. So first of all, superposition. So superposition theorem, I am stating the statement that for any linear bilateral network, that there are terms linear, bilateral. So first of all, the term linear. What do you mean by the linear? Linear means those obeys the homogeneity as well as the superposition principle. Okay. So we are going to discuss this. And bilateral means they, if you allow in the both direction, the current flow is possible, right? That means it is unilateral means current will flow in only one direction, but bilateral means it can flow in both the direction, like resistances. But can you give any example of unilateral?
PN junction
Diode.
Diode. If it is
junction.
forward bias, then only in that direction if the current will flow. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So in
Yes,
any
ma'am.
linear bilateral network, the current at any point of the circuit or the voltage between any points of the circuit. That means current passing through any branch of the circuit or voltage drop across any 2 points due to the simultaneous action of more than one number of voltage sources or current sources. That means if there are more than one number of voltage or maybe current sources are present, then the simultaneous action, that means all the sources are acting simultaneously, then the current or voltage that we are going to measure or we are going to check is the sum, or is the, properly we can say, is the algebraic sum of the components of the voltages and currents respectively. What we are saying, that is, if it is voltage, then algebraic sum of the component voltages, or if we are talking about the current, then algebraic summation of the component currents in a network is that due to one source acting alone. What does it mean actually? So when multiple sources are connected, that means the effect of these sources will be seen in the network. Then the result is that the result will be the same when we are considering individual sources and taking the algebraic summation of all these results taken together. Understood? So resultant effect of the multiple sources will be the algebraic summation of all the effects when individual sources are taken. Am I clear to you? And
Yes.
during that time, when individual
Yes, ma'am.
sources are being considered, then the other sources will be replaced by their respective internal resistances. That means, suppose there are 3 or 5 voltage sources. Say one source is taken in consideration, so other sources will be replaced by their internal resistances. Understood? So next time when this source will not be considered, but the one of other sources will be considered, then this source will be replaced by its internal resistance, and along with the other sources also will be replaced by their internal resistances. So we are taking, please mute yourself, please. It's honest request to you. So first of all, linearity property. Linearity.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Hi, yes.
Ma'am,
Why
I'm
we
sorry
have
to
done that?
interrupt, but hello.
Huh, please.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but do we have to take this down or will you share this PPT?
Share the PPT.
So ma'am, we don't have to note it now, right?
Yes. Other faculty members, do you agree? Should we share this PPT?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, we'll share.
Okay.
We'll share this.
Recording also.
Okay.
Recording
See,
also.
unanimously we are saying that we will provide you the PPT.
And
Okay, ma'am,
recording
thank
is
you.
there. Recording is there.
Recording also with there.
Okay. Thank you. Achha. So linearity property is the property of an, as I have discussed. Please mute yourself. Please, students, please mute yourself. Otherwise we cannot proceed. Achha. Because time duration is very much limited, so that's why we have to complete it by 6 p.m. You have your biology classes, some other classes also after that. Achha. So honest request, don't unmute yourself. Okay, let it be. So here linearity
Screen is not visible.
screen is not visible.
Screen is visible.
It's visible.
It's visible, ma'am. It's visible.
Visible. Okay.
Visible, ma'am.
Visible, ma'am.
Somebody.
Continue.
Silent, please.
Visible.
If screen is not visible to some person, so
Hmm.
please leave and rejoin.
Rejoin. Okay. So linearity property is the property of an element describing a linear relationship. So the simple example or the common example is the resistance. So voltage across the resistance will be equal to R into I. So that means I increases means V increases. Okay, so it is having R is the constant over here. So it obeys the homogeneity property. If you see here, it is very easy. So if you can think of V is the cos, say, so V increases means this I also increases. Okay. Now here the property is a combination of both the homogeneity, the linearity property is a combination of both the homogeneity property and the additive property. So homogeneity property requires that if the input is multiplied by a constant, then the output is multiplied by the same constant, right? Suppose suppose V is the cause over here. So say V becomes KV. So what would be I? I also
KI.
will KI.
KI.
Huh. Okay. Here you see
Madam, the additive property.
additive property coming afterwards. Now you look at here. Suppose we are providing a voltage V1. What is the cause? The current through the network is I1. Next, we are providing another voltage, say V2. The current will be I2. Now, a voltage is being provided. A voltage is being provided which is equal to V1 plus V2. So what would be the current? The resultant current obviously will be I1 plus I2. Or you can think in that way. Suppose when the current flowing through the resistance is I1, the voltage across the resistance is V1. When the current flowing through the same resistance is I2, the voltage across the resistance is V2. Now suppose the current flowing through the resistance is I1 plus I2. So one can easily say that following the superposition principle, the voltage across the resistance will be V, which will be same as V1 plus V2. That means V1 is the individual effect for I1, V2 is the individual effect for I2. So when these two individual effects are taken together, obviously the effect will be due to I1 plus I2. So look at here, R into I1 plus I2 will be the resultant effect. And that is nothing but V1 plus V2. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
madam.
So we say a resistor is a linear element because the voltage current relationship satisfies both the homogeneity and the additive properties. Okay. So in general, a circuit is linear if it is both additive and homogeneous. A linear circuit consists of only linear elements, linear dependent sources and independent sources. So other linear elements also inductor, capacitor. Yes.
हेलो मैम अगर रेजिस्टेंस भी अलग अलग हो तो
No, it is for, so that is a different problem. That means we are not talking about here. I1 is the current flowing through that particular resistance. We are talking about this resistance only. For the suppose it instead of R it is R1. So I1 current passing through R1, voltage across R1 is V1. I2 current passing through R1, then voltage across is V2, or say V3, V4, something like that. So for each of the resistance, this additive and the homogeneity property will hold good. Understood?
yes ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, is the resistance constant?
Resistance constant, yes. Resistance
Ma'am, what
constant.
do we mean by homogeneous?
Huh? Yes, please.
What do we mean by homogeneous?
This is homogeneous. When this I gets multiplied with K, then voltage across this resistance will also gets multiplied with K. If the cause gets multiplied with some factor, then the effect or the result will also get multiplied with the same factor if they obey the homogeneity property. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
You think in that way, cause and effect. Cause and effect.
These effects are only for ohmic conductors, no ma'am?
Because non-ohmic conductors does not follow this law.
So ohmic, it is what is written in this slide, which obeys the Ohm's law.
Ma'am, can we take all the questions? Please, all students, please note down your questions. At end, we can take all your questions. So we will complete on time, and we will give you separate time for question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Is
sir.
it
Yes,
fine? Please, all of you note down your question, and at that time, we will give you 5-10 minutes. So all of you one by one ask questions. Okay? Then it will be better.
Okay, sir.
So this superposition principle or superposition theorem can be illustrated with a network. Now you see over here, instead of a single resistance, we have multiple resistances. R1, R2, R3. R1 is connected across A and B, R2 is connected across the nodes B and C, and across B and D, R3 is connected, right? Two sources are connected here. Here there are two sources, VA and VB, right? Now due to this, the resultant current is I1 flowing through R1, I2 flowing through R2, and I3 flowing through R3 respectively. And voltage across R1 is V1, voltage across R2 is V2, and voltage across R3 is V3. Now, how we can illustrate this superposition principle? Suppose we are taking each of them sources one by one. First of all, we are taking VA, where VB is replaced with its internal resistance.
Shorted.
Okay. Shorted means when there is no internal resistance, it would be completely shorted, C and D. But when internal resistance of VB is present, then across the CD there will be the internal resistance of this VB. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, it is the individual effect due to VA. So the current flowing through R1 is I1A, current flowing through R2 is I2A, and current flowing through R3 is I3A, right? On the contrary, if we consider only the VB, but VA is being replaced with its internal resistance, then the effect we can see over here, it is I1B, it is I2B, and it is I3B. Now look at here, the direction of this one and this one just opposite, because driving force is here and here the driving force is VB. So since driving force is VA is present, so the input current will be this, and that would be divided here and in between R2 and R3, and similar way here the driving force is the VB, which is connected in the right hand side of the network, and therefore the input current is here and it is being divided over here. Now,
hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you take a different pointer, ma'am? I'm not able to see it properly. Or a big one.
Big one. Is it possible?
Please, ma'am, use highlighter or
Rajdeep, Dr.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Click on this highlighter.
Highlighter. Should
highlight the color self.
Is this okay? Is this okay?
Yellow one is okay.
Take the color red.
Red color, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a doubt.
Yes, you have a doubt.
Okay, all of you please keep your questions. At the last, we will give you time. Please, all of you.
Let us complete now. The time, it is time bounded class.
We will give you separate time.
Now, according to superposition theorem, what is IA? IA will be I1A and resultant algebraic sum of I1A and I1B. So what do you think? What would be this algebraic sum? I'm mentioning it is algebraic sum. Since the direction of I1A and I1B are different, suppose it is coming 3.5, right? And it is coming I1B, if we measure through an ammeter, it is giving say 1.5. So what do you think? What would be I1?
2 minus minus.
Yes, minus. Why? Because the direction
is opposite.
And here I1 is from A to B, and in this case I1B from B to A. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The similar will happen for this. So I2 is from C to B. So according to superposition theorem, this I2 will be I2B minus I2A. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am,
yes,
And
Yes.
I3 will be, because all this
some
Summation,
I3A plus I3,
summation of I3 3B.
right?
So all algebraic sum always.
Yes, that's why algebraic sum. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is already been explained to you. So in experiment, what we will do, we have to take two sources. Here two sources are being connected. In experimentally, one source is 10 volt maximum, another VB is 30 volt. So we need three ammeter here to measure I1, here I2, and here I3. Understood? And 3 voltmeter also required to measure voltage across, or through multimeter also, single multimeter, we can measure the voltage across R1, R2, and R3. So separately, you can connect this in this two end AB with the multimeter and measure this. Then the same two wire of the multimeter you connect across BC, and then after that BD. You will get V1, V2, V3, or you can take 3 voltmeter, okay, individually. So connect the circuit like this. We will show you on 10th that how it will be connected and this. So keep the resistance at suitable value. So we will connect 3 rheostats over here. Then we will, and also the ammeter in series and voltmeter in parallel. And we will measure all these 3 currents. Then after that, what will happen? We will remove this VV and make it shorted. If we don't know the what is the internal resistance of that, we will just short it C with D. Then measure the individual currents again. Next, what we will do, we omit VA, and then VB will be reconnected. So again, we will measure the current flowing through this 3 ammeter. And next, we will check we will verify the superposition theorem. Understood? So algebraically add the current in 4 and 5 above to compare with the currents in 3 above to verify the theorem. Aritra sir, will you proceed now?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Please unshare your screen so that I can.
Okay. Let me. Where it is. Aritra sir, just. I hope it is done.
It is done. Hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so up to this, madam already explained the procedure, how we have to find out the current when considering both the voltage source at a time.
Yes.
Sorry, colors. Both the voltage sources at a time, this one and this one. Okay, and then individually we'll take that and then replace the other one with the short circuit, because we assume that they are behaving as an ideal voltage source. So we just consider their internal resistance to be 0. So we short C and D and we record all these readings through the ammeter, or if we use multimeter, the current through multimeter by taking the sign convention, so that we can take addition or subtraction wherever it's required. And accordingly, we have to populate this table. You see I1, I2, I3 here when both A and B are considered. So first you take these readings and then only B, then you take these 2 readings through ammeter or multimeter, and then only A, then these 3 readings. Maybe one I have missed out. 3A should be there. So all these 3 you have to take care of, and then you have to add these 2, IA and IB, algebraically. So for the branches where they are in the opposite direction, you have to subtract, and where it is additive, so you have to add them up, and then you find out ultimately these 3 currents, and then you have to cross check how much is the deviation between the actual one when both the sources taking at a time, and when individually we have taken the voltage sources and then computed the current algebraically. through each resistor. Okay, and then you can note down how much is the percentage error between the actual one. This is your actual one when both A and B are present, and this is theoretical. Theoretical means, or experimental we should call it, because we are trying to verify the superposition theorem. So how much is the mismatch between these two, we have to record here. So that is your remark here. Similarly, both AB, BA, another set of reading we can take if required. So with that we can get for a better results, we can do it again, redo, and then find out what is really happening, whether there is an improvement. Like the more close I1, I2, I3 calculated to the recorded one, then it will be good, like your theorem is valid. That is what we can say. So whenever the theorem, what is the source between the mismatch between what is the cause between this mismatch between the calculated I1, I2, I3 and the measured I1, I2, I3 when both the sources are present? The causes is we consider the internal resistance 0, which may not be true. Practically there will be a small internal resistance which we ignore. So that may be the cause. Maybe the resistance are not fully maintaining the linear relationship. That means maybe it is changing, the resistance may be changing due to the temperature effect and all those things. If we ignore that, then definitely there will be some error which may creep in. So we may not get the 100% agreement between the measured and the calculated one. Okay, so that is the observation or conclusion we should write after you complete this table. Okay, whatever experiment you
remarks.
Remarks, you can just note down what is the percentage error between the measured one, which is the practical one, and through the theorem. Okay.
Sir, we will not consider the resistance of the internal resistance of the battery during the experiment.
No. We assume them as perfectly ideal voltage source, and we just short C and D like with a wire, like this. Okay.
Because it would be difficult to measure the internal resistance for the sources, so that's why we will assume this to be ideal one, and we will short it this too. But if it can be measurable and we can add it with the equivalent resistance there, then the measurement will be perfect. But for the timing, we will assume this to be ideal one, and we will short this.
Yes,
understood. So the percentage error, that is the tolerance limit. We can have 5 to 10%. We can take. If it is within that limit, then we can say that the theorem will be verified. Understood? So in the remarks, you have to compare. You have to give the percentage error actual minus observed divided by actual into 100%, and that is required to be mentioned in the remark.
Yes, ma'am.
Column. Understood?
And as a conclusion, you can write down if there is error, how much is the error, and why. What are the possible sources of this? Like we have ignored internal resistance, we have assumed they are perfectly linear. All these things you can mention. That may be because of this assumption, there may be some inaccuracy between the measured and the calculated. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Yes. So whatever experiment you will be carrying out throughout this lab, at each table or each whatever is your finding, that you have to put as an observation or note scientifically, or what you are getting, what actually you are doing, and what we got, what is the reason behind the mismatch, or maybe some other thing. So in that way, you should put a concluding note at the end of table. Simply just populating the table and plotting the graph is not enough. Okay, that is a vital part of writing a report. Which is your conclusion? Okay, so
the experiment will be conducted by us, and we will show you the video that how we are doing this, and also will give you one set of result, so that you will be able to write down. It will be complete this table, as well as to write down the remarks, as well as the discussion part. Understood, Aditya sir? Do you agree?
Make a practical file also.
Excuse me, ma'am. What is
Aditya sir?
Yes, I agree with you.
Yes. Hi, yes, you have to make a laboratory report, but that is afterwards when we complete the experimentation, and that would be shown to you, demonstrated to you. Understood? will be demonstrated to you.
Ma'am,
After
so
that
today
only.
we don't need it, right?
No,
Because I
no,
don't
no,
have
no,
practical
no,
file.
no. Only
It
thing
is simply a
today,
background class actually. Or
today and
original
day after
experiment.
today, day after today, all the theory class, theory part will be discussed to you, and that you see the video lecture several times, so that it would be helpful for you and you will get the knowledge and a better understanding before conducting the experiment. And that experimentation will be conducted by ourselves only and will be demonstrated to you. So without wasting time,
you will share us the video.
Yes, everything will be shared. Now we are moving to the Thevenin's theorem. Or sir, should I continue with your shared PPT? Or
Yes, definitely.
I think that would not be a problem. Yes, sir. Please go to the Thevenin's theorem part.
Is it visible, Thevenin's theorem?
Yes, sir. Okay. Now the Thevenin's theorem here. Or sir, please go to the next slide. Next slide. No, with the
what we want actually, we
better. Let me share.
Okay. We'll stop share.
All the students, please mute yourself. Is this visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me start from here. Suppose it's a network. Now, this is, let me take the highlighter. Highlighter is visible here. This is the input source. Clear? This is the input source. And it is the network which is having 4 resistances. This resistance denoted as P is connected across AB, Q connected across BC, S connected across CD, and R resistance is connected across RD. Now, interestingly, in between A and C, there is another resistance is connected, which is known as the load resistance, which is the resistance of interest. That means across the current flowing through this, we want to measure. Now, first of all, since it is not a big network.
Ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am,
I don't want to talk. Please mute yourself. Achha. So now, with the ammeter connected in series with the RL, we can measure the current flowing through this RL, and also if we put a voltmeter across this A and C, we can also measure the voltage appearing across RL. Now, it would be an issue. If instead of this small network, if we have a bigger network like a transmission line. In transmission line, the sending end voltage is given, and it is a combination of the resistance, inductance, and capacitances. And the transmission line is a bigger length, isn't it? So the voltage appearing across the receiving end and the current which is coming in the receiving end, it is coming to the load side, because load is connected across the receiving end. Now it would be a bigger issue when we yes, please.
Can you repeat, ma'am? I didn't understand anything.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
मैम मैं अगर P into S और is equals R into Q कर दूं तो ये बीच वाले से तो कोई करंट ही नहीं जाएगा.
If it is a balanced one, it is a balanced one. If it is a balanced one, it is a balanced. I have said anywhere that it is balanced one.
No, madam.
Then?
No, ma'am.
Madam, sorry for interrupting. Rajdeep, could you please note whose mic is on and music is going on?
Sonu Sharma, sir.
Ma'am,
Sonu
it's
Sharma.
something
Sonu
Sonu
Sharma.
something.
Sonu
He
Sharma.
is guest over here.
Yes, sir.
Please
Sonu
mute.
guest.
How he or she has entered? She or he is a first year
Ma'am,
student?
please mute him.
Ma'am, we don't
Sir,
think he is
Sonu
one of
Sharma.
us.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
ma'am, please
yes, ma'am.
remove
He is
him.
not from our class,
He is
ma'am.
not
We
from
think.
our
Yes,
class.
ma'am. He's not from our
No, I
class.
think he's doing it
Okay,
purposefully.
Rajdeep, remove him.
Rajdeep, please remove
Yes,
him.
maybe neither his email or his phone number is visible.
So when the network is a bigger one, then it would be quite difficult for us.
Ma'am, can you explain it from the beginning, ma'am? We didn't understand. I didn't understand anything.
Achha.
Yes, during
So there is a network across the receiving part, across the output terminal. There is a load connected, which is load which is denoted by your simple resistance RL. RL, right? We are interested to find out the current flowing through this RL and voltage across the RL. Understood? Am I
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Now, what is Thevenin's theorem? Thevenin's theorem states that any two terminals of a network composed of linear passive and active elements. Passive elements and active elements. Do you know what is passive and active elements? In this network,
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
what is the active elements?
Active
The voltage
element
source.
can provide current, can provide proper current.
Voltage source is the driving.
Provide.
It is the voltage source here, and the passive elements here, all the resistances, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Achha.
Yes, ma'am.
So that may be replaced by an equivalent voltage source in series with an equivalent resistance. What does it mean actually? That means all these four resistances and this voltage source can be replaced with this single voltage source as VThevenin if several voltage sources say are present. Even instead of this single also, if several also present, then also it is possible to represent with these four resistances and this voltage connected like this can be replaced with this voltage source VThevenin in series with the resistance RThevenin, where these two terminals are nothing but A and C. That means where the load are connected, which is our interest. Okay, we want to measure the current flowing through this and voltage across this. That means this is IL and this is VL. Okay, so if
Yes,
you
ma'am.
look into that, you can see over here, this whole part is being replaced with a voltage source VThevenin in series with a resistance, equivalent resistance RThevenin. Now the question arises, what is RThevenin and what is VThevenin? RThevenin is that if we look into the network through this terminal across which the load is connected, load resistance is connected, looking back through these two terminals into the network, back into the network when this sources, driving forces is either shorted if it is ideal voltage source, that means zero internal resistance, or our internal resistance is present for V in, then that would be replaced with its internal resistance. Then the RThevenin will be that equivalent resistance. So in this case, if you see over here, that these are the two terminals across which we want to find out the RThevenin, isn't it? Am I clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Ma'am, may you repeat it once
Yes,
again?
ma'am.
Yes.
May you repeat it once again?
Yes. RThevenin. What is RThevenin? RThevenin is the equivalent resistance of the network, isn't it? If we look into the network through this two terminal across which the load is connected, where and the input sources will be, if it is ideal, will be replaced with its zero internal resistance. So suppose this is A terminal, this is C terminal, right? So this will be shorted. So this is nothing but this, correct? So B and D shorted, This is B and D shorted. This is A and C. So which is coming over here? That is P, and here it is R, and here it is Q, and here it is I. So what is R Thevenin in this case? R Thevenin is nothing but P parallel R plus please say Q parallel S, which is the R Thevenin.
Ma'am, why is BD short circuited?
This is zero.
Because there is
zero,
no resistance.
if it is ideal, so zero internal resistance. So we where V in is connected across B and D, so that would be shorted.
Okay, ma'am.
Understood. Now next question. What is V Thevenin? V Thevenin will be the open circuit voltage. Okay, so V in connected. We just forget about this part. Let me take the eraser over here. Acha. So highlighter na.
Ma'am, your writing is not clear.
This one writing. I don't have any other option other than this, isn't it?
Yeah, ma'am, we got the former one.
It's okay, ma'am. It's okay.
Acha. So let me V in connected over here. So this is the open circuit voltage. That is V Thevenin. So we will open this RL, and so this is open now. So VAC will be V Thevenin when RL is being removed, and this 2 point becomes open circuited. So what is the voltage appearing across this 2 terminal AC with Vn as the input sources is the VAC or V Thevenin, right? So now you can tell me what is IL. Now it is, I think, okay. What is IL? IL, V Thevenin
Divided
by R Thevenin.
R Thevenin by R plus R load.
This. So that we will verify through experimentation. First of all, this.
But how we will find V Thevenin? So V Thevenin.
Remove the RL. AC terminal open circuited. Across a connect a voltmeter across this AC. V in is the voltage source. So measure the voltage across this AC.
Yes, ma'am.
Open circuited voltage. Look at here. It would be better to understand. So open circuited, connect a voltmeter over here, give you the V Thevenin.
Yes.
Correct? Acha. Now R Thevenin, what I have discussed just now. It is V in, zero internal resistance. Now you obtain the R Thevenin. Now experimentally also we can find out. Already I have told you how to obtain VOC and then V Thevenin. Then R Thevenin also can be found out. Let me first discuss this. So by Thevenin's theorem, the load current IL in figure 1 is the same as that of figure 2. This is figure 1. So figure 1, suppose measure the IL as well as the VL for a particular RL, for a fixed RL. Although it is shown as a variable, but suppose it is fixed, measured. R Thevenin is the equivalent resistance, what I have discussed just to you. And VL is nothing but V Thevenin minus IL into R Thevenin. IL already I told you, you can measure it experimentally. Now plot VL versus IL, and that would be a straight line of intercept V Thevenin. Now let me discuss this part first. Suppose RL we are going to, what should I say, vary this. Now what will happen? We will get several points. Here VL, here IL. So we can get several points. That means we are measuring VL, connecting a voltmeter across AD and AC, and measuring the current IL experimentally. So we will get several points. Now we are going to join this. Now this straight line, if we extrapolate, that will intersect with the x-axis as well as with the y-axis. What is this length, this part, this is the short circuit current and this is the open circuit voltage. What does it mean? Because since it is intersecting with that point, what is this? Current, a current and voltage is 0. So we can say it is a short circuit current when voltage is 0. And this point, a voltage, but current is 0. When it happens? When it is open circuited. Understood? So this will, already I told you the VThevenin is the open circuit voltage. So that means it is nothing but VThevenin. And this will be the short circuit current. So RThevenin can be calculated as VThevenin by the ISC. Now you can ask me that how I can measure this current. Remove the RL part, shorted the AC point through an ammeter. It will give you that short circuit current experimentally. Understood?
Ma'am, once again repeat it, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Remove the RL and short this AC through an ammeter. It will give you that short circuit current, which we have obtained.
We have to connect ammeter in place of RL only.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, correct. Acha. So other than measuring this current and the VThevenin, you can also do it like that. Change the RL value. You will get several points like for different IL and different corresponding VL. You will get several points, join the points, you will find out a straight line which will intersect with the x-axis which is VL and y-axis with the IL. So that will give you VThevenin and ISC. So RThevenin is nothing but this VThevenin by this ISC. What is ISC? ISC is this length. And what is VThevenin? This length. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that is this part. RL varying, current ammeter is in series and voltmeter in parallel with the RL. Isn't it?
Yes, voltmeter will measure VThevenin and ammeter will measure ISC.
Voltmeter will measure the VL and ammeter is measuring IL.
So how we will measure VThevenin?
This. VThevenin we are not going to measure here now. For drawing this plot, we are not going to measure VThevenin. For different values of RL, we are going to measure VL and IL. We will get several points over here. We will join the points and it will cut the x-axis at a point. That point is 0, ISC, and that point will be, if we extrapolate this, it will intersect with the x-axis which is nothing but VL as VThevenin, 0, VThevenin and ISC, 0. X-axis is current, that's why. Understood? Am I correct?
Yes,
Sir, ma'am, can we call it
Yes.
I Norton?
If you know it earlier, then call it. But at this moment, I don't want to call it as I Norton. Achha. So experimental procedure is that first we will use the highest values of RL supplied, switch on the power supply and set its voltage VIN to a convenient value. Keep this voltage constant throughout the experiment. Don't change it. Achha, by a digital voltmeter, measure the voltage VL across RL and calculate the load current. You know how to calculate because IL. Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. If you have any doubt, please note it down. After that, we will discuss it. Now we will change the RL and we will get several points VL, IL as already I told you. Next, the VL versus IL graph will ultimately give you that VThevenin and I short circuited, and that also give you the RThevenin part and as well as the VThevenin part. Okay. So,
madam, your screen is not visible. Your screen is not visible.
It's visible.
No,
It's
sir. It's
visible.
visible. Please
Okay,
rejoin.
okay, Aritra sir.
It's visible.
Okay, let me
I should,
rejoin.
I should stop here, and I think you should continue now after this. Hello.
Sir is rejoining, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Aritra
So-
sir is rejoining, ma'am.
Okay. So let me continue now. So VThevenin, this is short, or open circuited voltage across AC, and ISC experimentally. How experimentally you can obtain the VThevenin and ISC? It is shown with the figure 5 and figure 6 respectively. As already I have discussed you the open circuited voltage across AC, and it is gives you VThevenin, and when it is shorted through an ammeter, then it gives you ISC. Correct? So graphically you can obtain the VThevenin and ISC, and experimentally also you can obtain VThevenin and ISC. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Yes, yes.
So now this experimental result in tabular form. Load resistance RL, load voltage VL, then after that IL will be VL by RL just. Understood? Next is VOC, measure it, and then short circuit current, measure it. So RThevenin will be nothing but VThevenin by ISC. I hope you don't have any problem with this.
Sir, ma'am, short means we have
Short
to
it
short
through an
the
ammeter. Short it through an
load range.
ammeter.
Just mean connecting.
This one. You see, it is shorted through an ammeter.
Okay, ma'am.
AC is shorted, but through an ammeter, which gives you the short current flowing through the shorted path. Nothing other than that. Assuming that ideally the ammeter does not have any zero internal resistance. Understood? Having zero internal resistance. Understood?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Zero now, actually infinite internal resistance. You can say better. Huh? Acha. So it is here.
No,
Experimental.
no, ammeter should have zero resistance, na?
Ha!
Voltmeter have.
Voltmeter, it is internal resistance will be in series, but in ammeter it is in parallel. Acha. Now next is the this is experimental. Next is experimentally. Very sorry. Next is this through the graphically. That means what I explained you that change this RL, measure P and A, which gives you several points over here. Connect this, and it will cut this 2 point. Okay, so it will give you VThevenin, and it will give you, that is extrapolate, and ISC. Okay, so this intersection on the VL axis will give you VLO. Now you have this 4 or 5 points, say 5 points. So delta VL will be, suppose V1 is the first point, V2 is the second point. So delta VL is V1 minus V2. Similar way, corresponding to this first and second point, current is I1 and I2. So delta IL will be I1 minus I2. So the slope will be V1 minus V2 divided by I1 minus I2. Am I clear? Now next is, say third point is V3 and I3. So V2 minus V3 and I2 minus I3. V2 minus V3 divided by I2 minus I3 will gives you the next slope. And next, this one RThevenin. By that way, you can get the RThevenin, right? Aritra sir, I think I have joined. Na? Aritra sir, will you like to continue now?
No. Hello?
Ah, yes.
Okay, it's almost, I think, madam, you have almost completed. No?
Actually, you have rejoined, that's why.
Yeah, because I had
So,
issue with the
so
connection.
whatever you have obtained experimentally, the RThevenin or VThevenin, and also by graphically, that you verify, and if it is coming same, then you can say that Thevenin's theorem is verified.
Ma'am, what is VLO?
VLO is that VLO open. VL open, O for open.
VThevenin.
That is nothing but VThevenin. Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes. So that is what we want to, we are going to do for verification of superposition and Thevenin's theorem.
Ma'am, what is VLO? I don't get it.
VThevenin, open circuited, for
Open
open
circuit
circuited.
voltage.
Open circuit
V load
voltage.
open, V load open, voltage across the load open. It's nothing but VThevenin.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So Aritra sir, do you like to add anything?
No, madam, you have covered everything. It's okay. So again, you have to write the conclusion whether you are like the same way as I told in the superposition theorem. The same things hold here also. So you may not find the 100% agreement between the graphically obtained and the experimental data. So that reason you have to justify. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Cannot see. Sir, are you?
anything?
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
Aditya, can I start from experiment number 2?
Okay.
Student, do you have any confusion regarding experiment number 1? Or we'll start experiment number 2?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, start please.
Okay, let me screen share. Okay. So thank you, Jyoti ma'am and Aditya sir for explaining experiment number 1. Now we'll start experiment number 2. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
title of
Yes, sir.
the
Yes, sir.
experiment is Network Theorem 2.
start.
Yes, and objective is to verify Norton's theorem and maximum power transfer theorem. So first we have to know what is Norton's and maximum power transfer theorem. So let me start with the equipment. So for this experiment we need one DC source. So this is the DC source that we will have to use, and we may use some multimeter. So I think these things you already know. Last class ma'am already told this, and this is some voltmeter. We have to use DC voltmeter and DC ammeter to measure voltage and currents, and this is DC ammeter. Okay, now we'll start with the Norton's theorem. So already Thevenin's theorem is explained, right? So Norton's theorem is the another form. Okay, first I'll tell what is Norton's theorem is. So this theorem conveys that any two terminal for a linear active network. Now this theorem is also valid for linear and active network. So that is already explained what is linear and active network. Now containing only independent source first we'll see. Okay, so we'll not go for dependent source. Here we'll only go for independent sources. Now any circuit that contains any complex circuit that contains several elements and independent sources that may be replaced by an current source and a parallel resistance. Okay. Now in Thevenin's theorem you have seen that that circuit is replaced by a voltage source and a series resistance. Now we are replacing the same circuit by a current source and parallel resistance. So that is the thing. Now in Thevenin's theorem, you are seeing that how to find out VThevenin and RThevenin. So where VThevenin is the voltage source and RThevenin is the resistance in series with that voltage source, right? Here you can see the same theory we are explaining, but with source transformation. So you know what is source transformation? So in source transformation, any voltage source with a series resistance can be converted, can be replaced by a current source with parallel resistance, where the resistance value will be same though. So the same thing is happening in Thevenin's theorem. What we are doing, we are replacing the circuit by VThevenin and RThevenin in series. Now in Norton's theorem, what we are doing, we are replacing the circuit, the complex circuit, by a current source in the parallel resistance. So you can see, if we take the circuit in figure 1, you can see it is a complex circuit, it is a bridge circuit, and it can be replaced by this circuit. You can see in figure 2, this is a very easy simple circuit. You can calculate easily the voltage, power, current, power from this circuit. So Thevenin's theorem said that, Norton's theorem said that any complex circuit like figure 1 can be replaced by a current source with a parallel resistance, that is shown in figure 2. Now again, like Thevenin's theorem, for Norton's theorem also, if you want to replace this bigger circuit, this bridge circuit, by this this very easy circuit, then what we have to do, we have to know that how to calculate ISH and RN, because the current source named, we have named that is ISH, and the resistance parallel to it we have named as RN or Norton resistance. Now the first thing is that RTH and RN, they are same. That means the resistance that is used in for Thevenin's theorem and for Norton's theorem, these two resistances are same. That you can see by source transformation also. So when we transform the source, the series resistance and the parallel resistance, their value is same. So that's why we already know that how to calculate RN, right? So madam already told how to calculate RN. RN is the internal resistance of the total circuit, right? Now how to calculate it practically, that also madam said, I will also convey that, but RN is here is the internal resistance of the circuit. Now what is ISH? You can see there is one current source ISH. So what is ISH? When we are going for Thevenin's theorem, we are calculating V Thevenin, VTH. That time what we are doing, we are taking the open circuit voltage of the load. That means we are removing here, if we see the bridge circuit, we are removing RL and we are putting a voltmeter and we are measuring the open circuit voltage, right? That is V Thevenin. Now here for ISH, that means short circuit current, what we have to do? We have to put a ammeter instead of the load. So that means we are shorting the load and we are measuring the short circuit current. So that is Norton's theorem. That means you can replace a complex circuit by a very easier circuit that contains only one current source and one resistance in parallel. Now how to calculate the current source? The magnitude of current source is the current. Yes.
Sir, please repeat. I couldn't understand that.
Okay,
Yes,
I'll tell the theorem again.
Sir, मेरा मोबाइल डाटा खत्म हो चुका है.
So that is not our problem, right? That you have to solve by yourself. Okay. So the theorem says that any complex circuit can be replaced by a very easy circuit with one current source and one parallel resistance. Now, how to calculate the current source and parallel resistance? The magnitude of current source is the current measure when the load terminal is short circuited. That means that is a short circuited current of the load. So you have to short circuit the load and measure the current. That is your current source. And what will be the parallel resistance? The parallel resistance is same as RThevenin, which is the equivalent resistance looking into the terminal from by taking all independent sources should be replaced by their internal resistance. That means if there is voltage source, you have to replace it by shorting. And if there is current source, you have to open circuit it and measure the equivalent resistance. So Rn and RThevenin, they are same. How to calculate that? Theoretically, that is same. Now practically, what is the difference? You have to calculate here ISH, right? So how to calculate ISH? We have to short the load terminal. So here the Wheatstone bridge or the bridge circuit that you can see here, RL is the load. So we have to remove RL and instead of RL, we'll put one ammeter. That means we are shorting it and we are measuring the short circuit current. So that way we can measure ISH. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the thing is, it is already told that Norton's theorem, by Norton's theorem, that this bridge circuit can be replaced by this figure 2. But how to prove that? That will explain now. That will try to prove experimentally. Okay. Now the thing is, what you have to do. Okay, I'll explain it by here. So how to. Okay, let me explain from here. So what we'll do in our experiment, we'll make this Wheatstone bridge and we can see the load. So what we'll be doing, we'll connect one voltmeter and ammeter, just like in the previous experiment, and we'll try to vary the value of RL. So if we try to vary the value of RL, we'll get different VL and IL. That means load voltage and load current, and we can plot them in this graph, in a graph paper, right? And we'll get the graph that is shown in figure 3. Okay.
Please again say it, what you have said. I didn't get it. Noise.
I am telling that we'll make the bridge circuit in our lab, and the load, instead of load, we'll be using a variable resistance. So which we can vary, right? So we can vary the load little by little, and as we are varying the load, we'll get different VL and IL value. Now, as we are getting different load current and load voltage value, that we can plot on a graph paper, and we can get the graph that is shown in figure 3, right? Where x-axis will be our load voltage and y-axis will be our load current.
Okay.
Now, when we got this graph, after that we'll come to this circuit. Now, if we try to analyze this circuit, you can see if we here total current in the circuit is ISH, right? There is a current source, and there are two branches. One branch consists of one resistance, that is Rn. Another branch is the load resistance RL. Now, if we try to find out how much current is flowing through Rn, now how much current is flowing through Rn? It is VL divided by Rn. If our load voltage is VL, you can see all three of them are in parallel, so the voltage across them are same, right? Now, as the voltage across load is VL, so voltage across the Rn resistance,
Will be
that is
VL.
also VL, and voltage across the current source, that is also VL, right? So if we try to find out how much current will flow through Rn, it is VL divided by Rn. Okay or not?
Yes, sir.
So how much current is flowing through load? That is IL will be total current, that is ISH minus VL divided by Rn. Is this equation clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we
Yes, sir.
write IL equals to VL upon RL.
Yes, yes. Yes, what you are asking?
Sir, can we directly write IL equals to VL upon RL? So why are we representing it in the form of ISH?
Why we are representing in the form of ISH? Because we want to see that this figure 2 and figure 1, these two circuits are same or not. Okay. So for figure 1, we have already got the graph of load current versus load voltage like this. So here for this circuit also, we are trying to find out the load voltage versus load current graph. So we can compare these two graphs, and if these two graphs are same, then we can say that these two circuit are also similar.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Now,
one time repeat, sir.
Yes.
Sir, one time repeat, sir. Again.
I am telling that in this experiment, we are proving Norton's theorem, right? So Norton's theorem said that figure 1 and figure 2 are same circuit. Now, how that can be same is we can get the load voltage and load current graph in figure 1 and the same graph for figure 2, load voltage versus load current, and we can compare these two results. Right? And if they are coming same, that means Norton's theorem is valid. So here, depending upon this equation, that is IL is equal to ISH minus VL upon Rn, we can plot IL versus VL as Y is equal to MX plus C, right? So if we can just compare with this equation with Y is equal to MX plus C, where Y is equal to your IL and X axis is your VL, you can see that our Y axis, the value in Y axis will be ISH, right? That is a short circuit current, and the slope will be minus 1 by Rn. Up to this, it is clear. So if
Clear,
you
sir.
plot this
Yes, sir.
equation, Y axis interception will be ISH and the slope will be minus 1 by Rn, right?
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yes.
Sir, VL by ISH term will give what, sir?
VL
by ISH. I mean, the potential drop across the current source is VL, no, sir?
Yes.
It means there must be some resistance to the current source, no, sir?
Yes, there is some resistance. There should be some voltage drop. Na? So if there is some current source, how it will produce current? There should be some higher potential and lower potential, and that's only that current is producing, right?
Okay.
Otherwise, how a source can produce current if there is no voltage difference in it? There is some voltage difference. That's why current is produced.
What is the
recorded
difference
video?
between current source and battery?
Yes.
So then what is the difference between a current source and a battery?
Yes, a battery and a current source. So you know that source, maybe we can divide source as a voltage source and current source. So if it is a voltage, you are asking what is the difference between current source and voltage source, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so voltage source means it will provide, suppose we are telling that it is a 10-volt voltage source. That means that source will provide 10 volt constantly. But what will be the current? If we connect some resistance across that source, some current will flow, right? And if we vary the resistance, the current will vary, the voltage will not vary. So that means what? A voltage source will provide that amount of voltage constantly, irrespective of how much current it is producing. That means if it is a 10-volt voltage source, that means it will produce 10 volt. Now what about the current? Current may be 3 ampere, current may be 1 ampere, current may be 2 ampere. So if it is voltage source, that means it will produce that amount of voltage. Now if it is a current source, that means it will produce that amount of current irrespective of what voltage it is producing. Okay. So that means if it is a 5 ampere current source, it will always provide 5 ampere, but the voltage will vary if the elements in the circuit will change. Are you getting?
Okay, sir, I got it.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. So you can see if we plot this equation, we'll get the graph
Yes,
that
sir.
is shown in figure 3. Yes.
According to theorem, complex circuits can be replaced by current and resistance parallel to it, na?
Yes.
So then does that resistance have a particular value?
Yes, that I already told, right? So how to calculate that resistance here Rn? That is the internal resistance of the circuit. So how to calculate that? That madam already told, right? So what you have to do to calculate Rn and RTH are the same. Rn and RTH, they are same. So how to calculate that? So that means that all sources must be replaced by their internal resistances. And you have to look from the load terminal to calculate the total internal resistance of the circuit. Okay. So that it will be more clear when we'll go for some numerical in theoretical class, that how to calculate this Rn, or when this will be covered in your theoretical class, it will be more clear. But how to calculate it? You have to put all sources, you have to remove all sources, and instead of that you have to put their internal resistances. Now if it is an ideal voltage source, what you have to do? You have to short circuit it. If it is an ideal current source, what you have to do? You have to open circuit it, like that. And you have to see from the load terminal, and you have to calculate the total resistance of the circuit. That will be the internal resistance of that circuit, which is equal to Rn or R Thevenin.
Sir, so in this experiment in Norton's theorem, which two results we are comparing? Like, which is the experimental result we are comparing with the theoretical one? So what parameters are we comparing to verify the Norton's theorem?
No, we are comparing the experimental result with the experimental one. Let me finish. Okay. So one thing you can see that by this theory, if we plot this, we'll get this graph, right? This IL and VL that you can see in figure 3, where interception in y-axis will be equal to ISH and slope will be equal to, here there is some misprint, it will be minus 1 by Rn. Okay. Now the thing is, experimentally we can calculate ISH and Rn, right? So how to calculate experimentally ISH? What we'll have to do, we'll remove RL, and instead of RL we'll put one ammeter, and that will be our short circuit current. That is your ISH, right? And how to calculate Rn? We have to use this value, VOC divided by ISH. That means open circuit, will remove RL, will measure the open circuit voltage, that will be VOC or VThevenin, and we'll divide that with the short circuit current, that means ISC. So we'll get the value of Rn. Okay, that is the internal resistance of the circuit. That I will also show. So two things we are getting from here, that our y interception should be equal to ISH and slope will be equal to minus 1 by Rn. So ISH we can calculate practically, and Rn also we can calculate practically. So by
Sir, how
using
we will
those
calculate
ISH
RN?
value,
Please
yes,
explain how we will calculate RN.
yes, I'll show here. You can see here the number 6 point. Here you can see, and to measure RN will be equal to VOC divided by ISH, where VOC is the open circuit voltage of the load and ISH is the short circuit voltage, short circuit current of the load. Okay.
Okay.
So that means what? Here you have to remove RL and you take the open circuit voltage by a voltmeter. Now what? You connect a ammeter, you will get the short circuit current. Okay. So now what? We have already got the graph that is shown here in the figure 3, and we have already got the value of ISH and RN. So we can compare, right? ISH with the y interception and RN with the slope. And if it is comes very close, that means the Norton's theorem is valid. So I'll quickly tell the procedure. So first we'll set up the circuit as shown in figure 1, right? Like figure 1, we'll set up the circuit and we'll value the maximum value of RL. That is a variable resistance, so we can go for the maximum value. Now what we have to go do, number 2, switch on the power supply and set voltage V in as a constant value. So whatever voltage source we are going to use, that have up to 30 volts. So suppose we take 10 volt and we have to keep this voltage constant throughout the experiment. So our V in, that is fixed, and that is 10 volt. You can take 20 volt also. According to that, your reading will come. Now by using milliammeter and voltmeter, DC milliammeter and DC voltmeter across RL, we have to measure the voltages. So we can plot this graph, PL and IL. Okay. So we'll take all the voltages, and what we will be doing, we'll change RL. We can see gradually, number 4, gradually decrease RL. So we have already taken the maximum value. So we'll slowly decrease RL and take different VL and IL value. And for each RL, we have to keep V in constant. So V in is constant for total experiment, and we will take different RL, and so we'll get different VN and IL. Now we'll come to point number 5, that is plot IL versus VL in the graph, and we'll find the interception. Here I have written ILO, that is actually ISH, and slope in the graph. Okay. Now what will be our next point? We'll take milliammeter reading when the load terminals are short circuited. That will measure ISH, right? And to measure RN, we'll go for VOC divided by ISH, where VOC is the open circuit voltage of the load, ISH is the short circuit current. Now we'll get these two value, ISH and RN. And finally, we have to see that ILO will be equal to ISH and AM will be equal to -1 by RN. So this will verify Norton's theorem. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, in third point, for calculation of IL, milliammeter in series. For VL also the same thing, or is it in parallel?
VL. So if you want to measure voltage, you have to put the voltmeter in parallel, right?
Yes,
So if you want to measure current, you have to
equal to ISH.
Yes.
Sir, but in third point it is not
ISH.
mentioned parallel.
Okay, it is written across RL. So that is parallel to RL. Okay. You have to connect voltmeter parallel to RL, not across. Okay.
Okay, sir.
IN equal to ISH, short circuit current.
Number 7 point you are asking?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So why ILO is equal to ISH, right?
IN equal to short circuit current.
IL. No, it is the
IN.
interception. Okay. So here in the first figure, you can see here the interception. Okay, I have mentioned it as ISH, but that is actually ILO in the y-axis. Okay. From this figure, you will get different IL and VL value. Now, if you plot them, and if you suppose you get some plotting, so what you can do, you can increase that plotting up to y-axis, and you can find out the interception. That point
Sir,
is
the
ILO.
intercept will be
Okay.
ISH. Intercept is ILO. That is.
Yes,
Sir,
that point
ILO
is
or
ILO.
ISH, sir?
That
That
is,
is same. That is same. ILO and ISH is equal.
yes, ILO will become equal to ISH. Okay.
Yes.
So that we have to see. ILO will become equal to ISH. How they are equal? Have you understood how they are equal? Why they are equal?
No, sir.
Yes. Yes.
There is some difficulty in understanding. Sir, have you some recorded video so that we can see the experiment practically?
Yes,
We
this
get in
experiment
detail.
will be done. So today is the only theoretical class. This experiment
We are
will
not
be
yet
there.
covered the theory part, sir. That is why we are not get. I am not getting anything.
Okay, I'll explain very shortly again. Okay, so first thing is you will get.
No, Rajdeep, please can go to the maximum power transfer theorem. Otherwise, the other two explained will not be get enough time to be explained.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Sir,
So
VLY
this
is equal to ISH. Once say. Why?
Sir,
why
please.
ILO is equal to ISH, right?
Summarize on, sir, please.
Sir,
Otherwise,
explain one time ISH.
this will not be clear, sir.
Which one? Which one? Please tell me quickly.
ISH, sir.
ILO is equal to VSH. ISH.
ILO is equal to ISH, not VSH. So I am telling again. So you can see the bridge circuit right in figure 1. So here we'll plot the voltage across RL and plot the voltage and current across RL, and we'll get the graph here shown in here. So here instead of ISH, I have mentioned it wrong. It is ILO actually. So that interception you got in y-axis, that is ILO in the from the first circuit. In the from the second circuit, if you see the equation, if you plot this equation, you will get the interception in the y-axis will be ISH, right? Now finally you have to see that your ILO and ISH are matching or not. If they are matching with each other, that means these two circuits are same and Norton's theorem is verified, right? Is
Yes,
it
sir,
clear?
clear, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, so we'll come to maximum power transfer theorem. So what does maximum power? This is another theorem. So here it states that it states that to obtain maximum external power from source side with a finite internal resistance, the resistance of the load must be equal to resistance of source viewed from output terminals. That means the maximum amount of power will be transferred to a load when the load value will be equal to the internal resistance. So here the internal resistance value is shown as R0. So how to calculate this internal resistance? They are same. So we have already calculated Rn, right? We have already know how to calculate RThevenin.
Yes.
RO is the same thing, only mentioned here as RO because it is a different theorem. So that's why it is we have defined that as RO, but that is same as RTH and Rn. So we already know how to calculate RO. Now maximum power transfer theorem said when our load will be equal to RO, that time you will get maximum power. So you can see the graph here. You can see the maximum power we are obtaining when RL is equal to RO, right? The x-axis is RL and y-axis is power. And you can see if we move from RO, we can increase and decrease both, but we'll get less amount of power. So that confirms the maximum power transfer theorem. That is maximum power transfer theorem. Now how to prove it? So the procedure is we'll just go first, we'll set up the same circuit. So this circuit we already set up for Norton's theorem, right? We'll use the same circuit. Now what we'll go for point number 2, switch on the power supply, adjust the output voltage VL to some value, and Vin is constant throughout the experiment. Now third number value, insert a resistance RL from the load resistance and measure the voltage by a digital voltmeter and increase the value of the load. So here also we are taking a variable resistance as our load. and as it's a variable resistance, so you can vary little by little, and we can measure the voltage and current across it, right? Now we'll increase and decrease this, and we'll measure the voltage and current across it. Okay, so now this type of reading we'll get different IL and different VL, right? Now with this IL and VL, we can calculate the power. As it is a resistive load, so we can directly multiply IL and VL, and we'll get the amount of power. So we can find out that across what value of RL, what is the power. So we can see at value of 11.11, the power will be multiplication of 0.2 into 0.18. Like that, we can calculate power for each load resistance, right? Now we can plot that, and we can find out that the maximum power, and the plot will look like this, figure 2, and we will find out the maximum power. Where is the maximum power? And we'll find out the resistance, the load resistance that is having the maximum amount of power. And we already know how to calculate RO, right? We have already calculated RO. RO is equal to VOC divided by ISC, that is the open circuit voltage across that load divided by short circuit current. That is, RO is same as RN, is same as R Thevenin. So we have already calculated RO. We know what is RO, and we'll just compare RO with that value, that load value which is having the maximum amount of power. And if those two values are equal, that means maximum power transfer theorem is proved. Yes? Any confusion?
To the slide where all the points are written, 7 points, 7 experimentation.
Yes, sir.
This will be explained again when you will perform the experiment. Okay. So today is only theoretical class, so we'll try shortly to tell about you about the experiment.
Sir, is our electrical teacher will cover theory part?
Yes,
Hello,
obviously
sir.
that will be covered, and then things will be more clear to you. Okay. So these all are in theory, so we'll get those classes also. So is it clear to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, totally clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It will be
Okay.
little
Okay. So
Sir, will we get a break, sir?
Yes.
Will we get a break, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, we have classes from 6 p.m. Biology class.
Already 5:30.
Can we get a break, sir?
Yes, sir. We have classes.
Yes, sir. Okay, before class we will leave. So Rajdeep, we can start new next one. Sarkar sir.
Which sir?
Yes, Sarkar sir can start. Yeah.
Sir, we need a break, sir. So can we end today's class here, sir?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
No, today we have to go for 4 experiment. Okay. So
Hello. Yes, last experiment is remaining. So please wait. After that, we will leave you. Okay.
Okay. We have classes.
Am I audible, students?
I mean, we have 2 experiments, no? So that we have to cover by 6, is it?
Yes, we have 2, because the last one is also smaller one, because this needs the fluorescent lamp needs more time. Then after that, within 7 to 10 minutes, we can complete the other one, isn't it?
Then
we can do
that
that.
classes from 6, ma'am.
We know that. Accordingly, we have managed it. We arranged it.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, am I audible? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the time is 5:33 p.m. Okay, so actually 40 minutes will be required minimum. So can you?
Sir, we have a class from 6, sir.
Class.
Sir, we have a class. Sir, please.
Let us leave.
Sir, what about after 7? On today and.
No, after 7. Okay,
Mobile data is getting exhausted.
After 7 I am free.
We don't know that. Can we continue some other day, sir? Because we need a break in between.
Yeah, we can continue another day.
Yes, sir.
Tushar, what I do? Tushar. Tushar sir, Rajdeep sir. Tushar said, Rajdeep said, Jyoti ma'am. What I do now?
I think, sir, actually my part I can cover only 5-10 minutes. It will be required. It is not a big one. So it will be covered, I think. But for you, you are saying 40 minutes will be required. So then if you are willing or they are willing, you can arrange after 7 or sometime.
Okay, so that is better. So same link is okay, or another link is to be created.
Not after 7, it will be after 8.
No, sir. On SAM link we will do.
The class is of 2 hours, sir. It will complete at 8. There's a class of 2 hours.
Hello students, just wait. Tushar sir, Rajdeep sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, I can create one new meeting if required, and I will send the link to every student then. But the time should be from when it will start. That class.
Okay. On the same meeting we can take as if.
Yes, sir. For the same meeting also that can be done, sir. No problem. With the same meeting ID, they can enter here.
Okay, the same link is okay for the next meeting, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. From
Sir,
8.
what
From 8.
the timing of the meeting?
Let me complete then my part. Okay, experiment 6 is not a
then
one. It is a very elementary.
So
Experiment 7.
Experiment 7 better Orithro will continue, and Dr. Sharkar will continue, I think, convenient time after 8, I think.
Okay. I can take class from 8 p.m.
8 p.m. it will start then. Yes.
Okay, from 8 p.m. Okay, so that time schedule is from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Is it possible for everybody?
No, sir. We are having a live orientation.
No, sir.
What?
sir, orientation program is there, sir.
No, sir.
Sir, no more data left, sir, in the mobile.
Of that.
Yes, sir.
Try to keep it some other day at evening.
No more data.
Tushar sir.
Sir, do it today, sir.
Tushar sir, please
Sir,
help
not
us.
today, sir.
Not today.
Sir, today is not possible.
Sir, today is not possible, sir.
No.
Okay,
Hello, please.
Sir, tomorrow.
Sir, tomorrow, sir, class.
Tomorrow,
sir.
Hello, please. Hello, please silent. So, hello, Tushar sir, are you here?
I think Tushar sir is not here or maybe busy.
Rajdeep, please contact with Tushar sir and discuss about the situation and what he suggests according to we can arrange.
Sir, actually the theory for experiment 1 and 2 that the student didn't know, so that's why I think this much time was taken. So
that's okay, but actually it is required 30 minutes, 40 minutes for each experiment is required. Okay,
yes, so sir,
2 hours. Tell me.
Maybe this experiment may be shifted in the next class. Maybe.
It would be better if you shift it in the next day.
Next day, yes.
Next day means
Yes, sir, next day. Yes, sir, next day. Next day.
5 p.m. or 6 p.m.
Yes, sir, next class.
Next class, sir.
Next class 7 day completed.
Hello, next class. Actually, next Monday I have to take the class for the other section.
Meeting.
No, sir. All students are in this.
Yes, I have also understood that one.
Okay.
There is only one section now, sir.
Only
you
one.
can take in next class, sir. No problem.
Next Monday, please, sir.
Next.
Hello, excuse me. Next Monday I will be busy with some work. Okay, so it is better either tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I will be free and I can take the class.
Sir, tomorrow.
Yes, sir, tomorrow, sir. Tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir, one thing. Okay, sir. Okay.
So
Okay, sir.
hello, please let me.
Okay, sir.
Aritra sir, please continue.
Okay, also sir, continue. Then we can think of.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. My slides visible?
No. No, sir.
Not yet.
No, sir.
Not yet, sir.
Yes, sir. Now.
Yes, sir.
Now it is.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is the experiment. Hello.
No, sir, it's not visible, sir.
They're not
It's
visible.
not visible.
Sir, it is visible.
Sir, it's
It is
not
visible.
visible.
Visible, sir.
Sir, it is visible, sir.
Not visible.
We
Those
are
who are
leaving
not
the
able to see,
Click.
they please
Visible,
rejoin.
sir.
Huh? Okay.
Please rejoin.
Hello?
Huh.
Sir, it is visible.
Okay, fine.
Okay, sir, carry on.
Hello?
In this experiment, we'll just study the volt ampere, power voltage, and resistance voltage characteristics of tungsten and carbon lamps. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll study this circuit with containing both linear and nonlinear resistive elements. So here we'll see for some cases Ohm's law is not valid actually, because nonlinearity will be demonstrated in the VI characteristics. So that is what we want to see through this experiment. So here two kind of lamps will be using. One is tungsten filament lamp, which is household purpose. It is used so often. You are aware of this. Its operating temperature is roughly around 3000 degree centigrade. And for carbon filament lamp, it is very rarely used for the illumination purpose because it is having a low efficiency, huh? And therefore it is used only for heating purposes, and for some cases, some circuit voltage drop, to create a voltage drop across some part of the circuit it is used, but not for the lightning purpose because it is having a very low efficiency. Although the carbon melting point is 3500 degrees centigrade, the working temperature will be around 800 degrees centigrade, because at high temperature carbon filament lamps start disintegrating, so there will be blackening of lamp, if you can see here. So that is why it is operated around below 1800 degrees centigrade, and its temperature coefficient is negative. That means the resistance decreases at high temperature. So what happens when current flowing through the circuit, there will be heating effect. So for that, temperature will go up, and due to the rise in the temperature, there will be drop in the resistance, so more current will flow. So that is why it is causing high power consumption. Okay, and eventually it start disintegrating, and it causes blackening in the bulb. Okay, and this is where you get your circuit. So this is the auto transformer or variac with which we regulate the input AC voltage from 0 to 230. We can go at the most, because we'll using in a single phase supply. So with this, we can see there will be first and rheostat, which is the external resistance we are deliberately adding in series with the circuit. And then to this tungsten lamp and carbon lamp, they are in parallel path. Okay, because we know that whenever in any household purpose we apply any, run any appliances, we have to connect in parallel. So this is the source, 230 volt input, and these are the two bulbs which are in parallel. Through each bulb, we have to connect 2 ammeter, and AC ammeter only we have to connect it. So we can use milliampere or a milliammeter or ammeter as per our requirement. And there will be 2 voltage voltmeter will be needing. One is to note the drop across the lamp, and another is the to measure the input voltage from the auto transformer or variac. So how much we are applying, how much is the drop here, and how much is the drop across the lamp. So if we measure V1 and V2, then V1 minus V2 will be the drop across these are external resistance. Okay. So what we are trying to see, we will just vary the input voltage through here. We'll record the voltage drop across here, and then what is your current through the each parallel path where the bulbs are lamps are connected. Okay. So A1, A2 we have to record, and different input voltage we have to record, and then we have to plot it.
Sir, please explain the role of V1 and V2 again. Why there are 2 voltages?
V1 is to measure the input voltage. Through variac, you are just changing the voltage from 0 to say 20 or 30, then 60, then in that way, say 20, 40, 60, 80 in that way. So that will be recorded by V1, and then V2 is the drop across these 2 lamps. Okay, and if the resistance, external resistance is there, there will be drop. So V1 won't be equal to V2. V2 will be less than V1 because there will be drop on this external resistance. But if it is not present there, then V1 will be equal to V2. So what is the voltage across the lamps and what is the current through it, that we will measure using these 2 ammeter. Is all the meters are AC meters. Okay, AC voltmeter and AC ammeter. So this is what I explained here is written. Make the connection as shown in the circuit. First step is cut the external resistance out of the circuit. That means we'll just set it here at this point, right? We take the highlighted. So we'll set it first here at this point. That means it is cut out of the circuit. It's not present. That means V1 will be equal to V2, right? If we cut out the resistance, external resistance. So that is what is done first, and then we gradually increase the auto transformer output voltage in step of 20 volt and or 30 volt as per convenience. We'll do that in the experimentally when we'll do in laboratory until the full voltage is obtained. So if we go at the steps of 20, we'll reach around 220, and that is enough. So at each step, we'll note the reading of V1, V2, A1, A2 and record them in a table, and then we'll repeat it starting from 220 to 0. So first we'll go as 0, 20, 40, 60, 80 till 220, and then again once we reach 220, we'll gradually decrease it, and we'll see that these two readings won't be same. So these are the V1, V2, both are same when external resistance is not present. And then we'll record the current through the tungsten and the carbon, and we'll see that for the tungsten mostly they'll be unequal between. For the increasing record, first we'll go like this and then we'll come back. So there will be difference, but not that much for the carbon. Okay. And these are the list of the apparatus which will be using auto transformer or the variac. So this is the rating, voltmeters, ammeters. It may be milliampere range or maybe in ampere range as per the requirement. Then rheostat, then carbon filament lamp and tungsten filament lamp. These are the.
But there is no that much difference in the reading of resistance. You have shown in the previous step.
This one.
Previous step, yes, sir. For tungsten and for carbon lamp, there is no much difference in resistance.
It is actually not the experimental data. It's a dummy data to show how the table you need to populate. When we'll do it experimentally, we'll just record all the data and then we'll show with the graph that these are unequal. So if we go on increasing and then come back, we'll see there may be a hysteresis kind of trend is. It won't be retraced actually.
You will never see the same data, same current data for the tungsten lamp when it is in increasing voltages or decreasing voltages now, due to the nonlinear property of the tungsten. Understood? Whereas for the carbon lamp, it would be close to each other. That means if you find out, it would be simple, nothing but a straight line that would be followed when increasing and decreasing path. But for the tungsten, you will get a hysteresis kind of hysteresis loop. Have you seen anywhere? I think you have seen in.
Like it will go like this.
And never trace out the same path.
It will go and come back like this. This is the way I get this.
But for the carbon lamp, the interesting thing you will notice that Aditya sir is going to present you. That is very much important. Why we are actually going for characterization of this lamp? Why we are going to visualize this characteristics? That will be explained in the next slide. Please see.
So this is your once we take this data like this, then we can take the average R for the each record, each reading, and then we'll plot it like this. Okay. So once we do that, then we'll see that for the carbon one, it is like this trend. So current will be increasing as you go in the higher voltage part. It is not actually linear, and it will be like a hyperbola, not hyperbola, it's like a parabolic. So that means its slope is, if you record the slope, its conductance will be increasing. If you take the slope here, initially around 0, around origin, if you record the slope, it will be of less, but if you record the slope here, the conductance will be high. Okay. So that indicates the resistance is dropping for the carbon, but for tungsten it will be like saturating. If we note carefully, it is current versus resistance plot. If we look here, so it is initially increasing and then it is getting saturated, almost not increasing in the same rate. So that is the nonlinearity which will be demonstrated by the tungsten tungsten lamp. Okay, tungsten filament lamp.
If
But
it is
when-
linear, then it should increase
it will be
monotonically.
increasing like this.
But it is not increasing, it attains saturation. So
like
in case of magnetic circuit, you have seen the saturation in the B. Even if you increasing the current, the flux density does not increase after a certain limit, after B maximum. So here the thing is that it is not increasing. This resistance is not increasing.
After here it
becomes
is
saturated.
almost saturating.
For
But
a particular
for carbon
current,
it is not like that.
after some current value, it will not go up.
So here it is shown around 0.06 or 60 milliampere. It is almost saturating. It's like that. So again, I am saying it is not the experimental data. Huh?
Please explain this slide again. I didn't get the meaning of this graph. Why we are plotting this graph?
So this is blue one is for tungsten. We can see that for if we keep on increasing the current, the resistance is getting saturated. It is not linearly increasing like this. If we extrapolate, if it is linear, it will go like this. But in practically, it is saturating after here, after certain current value. Okay, that is the due to the non-linearity of the tungsten filament lamp. It is no longer linear. Okay. But for the carbon, it is not like that. It is gradually decreasing. Resistance is gradually decreasing as per the temperature coefficient. So it is like R is equal to R0 into 1 minus alpha T. So that linearity holds for the carbon filament lamp, not for the tungsten, because there is the nonlinearity is introduced after this current. That is what we want to see from the VI characteristics of carbon and tungsten filament lamp. And once we can find out that it is actually demonstrating non-linearity in the VI characteristics, we need to graphically find out the current through it. We cannot solve it simply like Ohm's law because it is non-linear. These are the ideal cases where we can see the temperature coefficient of the carbon resistance. It is like this, and this is the linear characteristics. It is linearly reducing. Resistance is linearly decreasing, and tungsten is similar like tantalum. So it is having a positive temperature coefficient, which is equal to this. Okay. Next, it is a VP characteristic. So it's just I square R. If you calculate, then you can plot this. And VR characteristics is also like the same. Here also we can see it is saturating for the tungsten, but for carbon, it's not like that. It is still showing a trend. And next, the step 2 is we have to gradually incorporate the external resistance, and we should set it to its full value. Say if 350 is the maximum limit of the external resistance, we just introduce that external resistance, and then we record all VA, VB, IA, A1 and A2, like two parallel branch currents and the voltage drop across the lamps. Like here, if I go back to the thing, so we have to record this. We have to increase, we have to incorporate the full resistance in the circuit. We should set here, then we measure V1 and V2, and then A1 and A2. So that we record, and then what else we do whenever we introduce the external resistance, the load characteristics we have to bring in. So this is demonstrated by this magenta line. What is that? This is actually 230 volt, which is your input. So whenever it is not present, it is like its load characteristics. If it is infinite or open circuit, it is 230. And when we short it, it is 230 by 350. This is the current when only external resistance is present. So that will give you, if you join these 2 points, you will get the load characteristics for this external resistance. And then you have these two VI characteristics which you graphically obtained. Blue one is for the tungsten and red one is for the carbon. And if you algebraically add them up, you will get the black VI characteristics, which is I, which is A1 plus A2, total current through the circuit. So that point of intersection will give you the voltage of V2, which is at your across your two lamps. So for that particular voltage, what is the current A1 and A2 that you can get graphically, and you can cross check what is the actual value. So whatever you are measuring and graphically whatever you are getting, so that you have to tabulate and compare. So this is the observed value or measured value, and this is the estimated value from the graph. So you should check that these two should be close enough. There should be some 5 to 10% error, okay, with the observed and the estimated value. So that is what we have to do.
I10 ampere, I20 ampere.
I10 is like A1 and A2, and 0 indicates the steady state operation. That's why it is told at 0. So it is I10 and
Sir.
this is I20.
So we have
Sir, we have a bio class, sir, from class 6.
It's almost done.
So have you understood what we are trying to discuss with you from all these 3 experiments?
More
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, we will try our best when we will demonstrate through the video.
Experimentally,
experimental video.
Okay.
Ma'am, one thing, ma'am. What are the
Yes.
topics we are going to cover in next class? Because we don't have that much background about today class. That is why I am not able to get that much. Can you tell today on what are the topics we are going to?
Topic means the I think better Rajdeep, better we will share the manual.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Share the manual so that we can go.
Rajdeep?
Yes, ma'am. Can't understand anything.
Rajdeep?
Just blankly looking at this screen.
Boris sir.
How we will get this PPT?
Ma'am, please upload all the PPTs in the
PPT. I think Rajdeep sir will
upload
upload.
the PPTs also.
Okay.
PPT and the manual will be uploaded.
Will be uploaded.
Okay.
So that is all for today, I think so. There is nothing to be discussed, no?
Tomorrow.
Upload the manual.
Supriya sir, Dr.
Hello.
Shankar.
Hello.
Yes. Please.
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello, today I want
Yes,
to take
sir.
the class. Please tell me your convenient time. Today I want to take the class.
Sir,
No.
after 8.
No. When every students agree, then I can take class. Otherwise, some students tell me, okay, sir.
No, sir, it would be better if you take
Sir, not today, sir.
Not today, sir. Not today.
Not
After
today,
it.
sir.
Not today.
So some of them have already left from the meeting.
Not today. Not today, sir. Another day.
अच्छा
It would be better if
John बोलो ना.
because when you
Tushar
say
sir.
leaving the
Tushar sir, are you here? Tushar sir, are you
Take
here?
it on Thursday,
Sir, tomorrow will be better.
Saturday, sir.
all the days from 9 to 8 we have to class, sir. Then after it we have to do again classes.
Yes, sir.
Wednesday it is
Sir, on
possible?
Saturday.
No, not Saturday. Wednesday possible from 8
Yes,
p.m. to
sir.
9 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Sir, Saturday.
Not Saturday. Wednesday only. Wednesday from no. Listen me. Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Is it possible for you?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay,
if there
sir.
are classes.
Rajdeep?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Rajdeep?
Is okay.
Hello, Rajdeep.
Rajdeep?
Rajdeep, are you here?
Sir, Wednesday you can take also in the.
Tushar sir is joining.
Tushar sir, please you admit. Rajdeep, you admit. Rajdeep, please you admit. Tushar sir. Tushar, are you here?
Hello.
Tushar, are you here? Tushar.
Yeah.
Tushar. Hello, Tushar. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. Tushar, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Students have several problems for attending the class today, either from 7 to 8 or 8 to 9. Someone told me they have network issues. Someone told me their data charge is already finished. Okay, so I want to take the class on Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So according to you can schedule and mail to us.
Okay, first of all, I want to ask the students that whether you will be able to join or not, because if we have say lot of scheduled class, then we can manage, but we have only 2 classes available for the theoretical discussion, and theoretical discussion is very important. We expect that student will cooperate and student will join. So as many questions came from the students and the classes got extended, so it was not possible for the instructor to finish all the explanation and discussion within the time. So definitely we expect that student will cooperate and they will give some extra time so that we can teach and so that student can get also so much things about the laboratory